How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Crazy as Buck. I know it's been a while since we've been at you guys here, but we've just been super busy on the property, getting stands hung, getting the food plots ready, trying to get the house remodel completely finished. So I'm going to bring you here on a ride on the golf cart through the property. I want to show you these food plots that we started earlier. This here is the first one. Back in our May episode, this was the first one we did in clover. Now the clover, I could not get to grow to save my behind. So right in front of us here is all brassicas that we used here. This spot in here is all clover with chicory in the backside that still grew good. This front half didn't grow at all, so I ripped it back up, made the decision to fix that. I also did a little buffer strip all the way around the edge of this whole thing with brassicas. So this is that first plot that we did and tried with clover. For whatever reason, this first year we could not get it to go on here. This brassica plot is 2.5 weeks old. This right here, according to our trail cameras so far, is going to be a hot AM sit. Alright, so let's move on to the next one. Right now I'm going to take you guys through part of my trails that I have cut. I'm going to kind of try to stay on the same path that I did in my recent video according to the food plots. That way you guys still have an idea what's what. So much has changed here. So with all of our trail cameras and everything that we've been running here, you can see the ribbon there. Back in this hardwoods here, it's just a huge stand of oaks back in there. We have 2 tree stands, probably one tree stand about 50 yards off and another one about 200 yards off. And we will stay out of that area until the rut, unless the conditions are just right. I only have 3 tree stands in my property in the woods, and I probably have 28 acres of woods here. We are going to leave that untouched as much as we can. Also, out of that 26 to 28 acres, we don't even have anything in at least 10 or 12 of the acres we're leaving as a sanctuary. So here's where this little trail pinches both ways with my trail cameras. Deer are working these trails in the woods in here and in here off my driveway, and obviously I have a tree stand there. So this is the food plot we were talking about doing for a fall plot. This side here that you're looking at is all brassicas, turnips, all that. The far one in that opening, right back in there, there's about a little 1/4 acre opening, and that is sugar beets, kale, and turnips also. This plot here is not even a month old. Alright, so I'm taking you guys to the bean field now that we got put in. And let me tell you, these beans have been absolutely destroyed by the deer. They definitely served its purpose. Also, on top of that, like I told you guys before, I came in and did brassicas in here with these soybeans because these beans were getting hammered so hard. I was worried about not having a food source here. But the beans are still putting pods on. Here is the other half of this bean field. Right in that opening right there, we put in a tree stand. I'm going to show you a couple things. I got a couple decent bucks. I'll show you the pictures from the trail cameras here in a second. We've already got bucks opening up scrapes here. If you look at these beans, I'm going to show you. The tops are just clipped off everywhere. Here is a good example. These beans have been just pounded on. But look at this one. It's been nipped off everywhere. But I mean, it's still gonna have 6 bean pods on it. On top of that, with all the brassicas that are still in here too. So now we're coming up to this last food plot, coming off the bean field that I pulled into the same spot right here and told you that I hadn't completely decided what I was gonna plant here yet. This is Antler Kings Slam Dunk. Buckwheat, turnips, all kinds. It's a late season variety. This plot has done awesome. I also have a tree stand put in right there. And there's a trail camera right off that tree. There's 2 trails right there where those deer are coming out of into this food plot. This thing has been getting abused also. So those are the food plots. So basically, the more and more people I've showed or talked to about these food plots, everyone's like, well, you got a little bit of acreage, why wouldn't you get bigger ones in, bigger food plots? Well, it's not that I don't want bigger, it's that we don't need bigger food plots. In my opinion, these smaller ones that are an acre and less, now the bean field's different that I planted. That one's gonna be a little bit bigger. It just took so much browsing pressure. The deer population is a lot bigger than I thought it was here. That one will be bigger, but probably not much more than 2 to 2.5 acres. All the food plots that I just showed you, there's a reason for why they're where they're at, okay? They're all strategically placed in all this thick, nasty cover, okay? I don't need a destination food source for these deer. I want the food source tucked into all this nasty stuff on the edge of my woods so that they frequent it during daylight hours, okay? All the big destination fields are right at last light or at nighttime because they don't feel safe. I will show you the trail camera pictures on these food plots. I have deer in there all throughout daylight hours. They are at night also, but right off my driveway here, there's their destination field, okay? And then I have another one right behind my house. That's why I don't need a destination field. That's where they go at night. They're back in all this mess during the day. That's why I have them there. That's why we will have deer in daylight hours here.
Doing the same damn thing. Where have the rebels gone?